Welcome to the running
journey.
Welcome to the running journey.
Welcome to the running journey.
Welcome
to the running journey. Running journey, yeah. Welcome to The Running Journey, a transformative podcast telling the story of two brothers faced with a very tough time in their lives that decided to do something about it, get healthy, get fit, and start jogging. The Running Journey will take you through half marathons, Ironmans, ultramarathons, and their attempt at qualifying for the Boston Marathon.
Don't forget 5Ks. Sorry.
We're certainly not going to forget 5Ks, Charlie. This is The Running Journey. Listen to us while you run.
That's a great idea.
Okay, I think we have our intro. Hey guys, welcome to the Running Journey. I'm Rob Tatro. It's my brother Charlie. Great to have you here. Today's a special episode. Today we're gonna play a special episode, an interview that we had with CBC. I think it was national, if I'm not mistaken. It was a radio interview that they did on Charlie and I's running journey. And I'm gonna say, and Charlie, you could agree or disagree with me, but I feel like that kind of did it maybe get our minds started about going down this road of documenting our story and kind of putting something together like this. For me, it did. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
It was pretty neat because I think I did a post on LinkedIn about my 4-hour marathon. And no, I think I did a post about not my first marathon, the one I did 4:57. And I was like, I was way overweight, but I wanted to run a marathon and I'd started jogging and, dad got cancer. And I posted about all of that on LinkedIn, and somehow it got to the CBC reporter. She reached out. She's like, hey, I want to do an interview with you guys. And then we did an interview. And this was kind of the first time you and I talked about this, if I'm not mistaken. This was recorded like almost 2 years. No. Yeah, almost a year and a half ago. When was it recorded? Oh, right around the Ironman. Sorry, a year ago. 1 year ago it was recorded.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah, summer of 2022 was recorded. Yeah, because I'm talking about the Ironman. And it was right before I did my Ironman. And I think it was kind of the first time you and I both opened up about our running journey and what we were doing and why we started running. Do you remember anything else specific about that interview? Have you listened to it since?
No.
Is this the first time you're going to hear it?
Yep.
Ah, okay. I listened to it once a while back, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm excited to listen to it again. By the way, I'm running my Run with Rob for CMV shirt. These are fresh off the presses, running across Manitoba in the month of May here to raise awareness for congenital CMV screening. We're doing that. So I'm going to play this interview and we're going to listen to it. And then you and I will talk about it as it goes. Rob and Charlie, the CBC interview recorded about a year ago. Okay, obviously it doesn't want to play. I'm going to figure this out.
Oops. I hit a button by accident. I can't hear anything right now.
Just stop.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Oh, okay, got it.
We'll have to cut this out. Or you could tell a story about your swimming or something.
Swimming?
The microphone is yours. Entertain the viewers while I figure this out.
Yeah, so swimming. So I did one workout this week where I did the workout with my wetsuit. And yeah, those things, they're kind of like cheater suits. Did it like 15 seconds faster. No, sorry. So I did the hard part of my workout was like 25 seconds per 100 meters faster. It felt about the same. Going 15 seconds per 100 meters faster felt kind of easy, very easier. So anyways, so it's a lot easier to swim with a wetsuit is the moral of the story. But I guess I'm gonna be going very crooked at the Ironman, so can't rely on that. Other stories? Are we ready to go? There's a cone there. So if you're in an Ironman and there are traffic cones.
No. So real quick on your swimming, you went into the pool with a wetsuit?
Yeah, that's what my coach told me to do. So
yeah, I thought just losers did that, but no, I'm kidding. You did great.
The other thing that was weird is like I was going so fast compared to my usual pace that I had a hard time the first few times. When I got to the wall, the timing was so different because I was like,
you're zooming.
It was just gliding so much.
Okay, I figured this out. Hopefully this plays in the sound. You tell me if you hear it, Charlie.
Yeah, I hear something. Don't know. It's pretty quiet.
Do you hear it?
No. I hear something in the background. Or do you hear it?
I hear it, yeah.
Is it because
we tested this yesterday? It worked.
Well, we had to go and get Diego in here.
I know. I feel like my dad right now. Like I feel like I should be able to figure this out. Yeah. I feel like my dad right now. It's not Charlie's not hearing it. Can you see if you hear it?
Okay, yeah, here.
We're working on it. Technical difficulties.
They should have. But you'll phone about Dick Jansen and I'll.
Yeah, I'll email
Share the audio.
Test that out.
You're most welcome. Charlie, why did you start?
Do you hear that, Charlie?
I can hear it.
Okay, well, we'll remove it. Let me see.
You removed completely though.
Isn't that what I have to do though?
No, add the stream.
Oh, do this.
And then yeah.
Got it. I'm learning. Oh, I feel like such an idiot. Okay, tell me if you hear this, Charlie.
And even a little bit humbled.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this again. Okay, so this is the interview with CBC that we recorded. By the way, back then, I don't know what I weighed, but I was
set
overweight.
a goal to run a marathon in under 4.5 hours. Well, he didn't reach that goal, and he was really disappointed and even a little bit humbled. And he got so much encouragement because of what he shared online. He actually set a new goal, the sub 4-hour race, and he enlisted some help. He started training with his brother, Charlie, and in a year or so since they started training for that race, they've not only lost 50 pounds, but they've gained a lot more. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having us, Keisha.
You're most welcome. Charlie, why did you decide to start running?
I was feeling a bit unhealthy at some point in my life, and then this would have been March 2021, and I got a phone call from my mom saying that my father had been diagnosed with cancer, and that was the kind of the wake-up call to do something to feel healthier and feel better about myself, and just kind of a wake-up call that life, you got to enjoy life while you're healthy, and do everything you can to stay healthy. So that was, for me, that's what started it.
Thanks for sharing, Charlie. And that is one heck of a wake-up call. Rob, do you mind telling me why was it that you decided to start running as well?
Well, the irony of this story is that we both started running for the same reason at the same time without knowing it. I got that same phone call, and I said the exact same thing that my brother said, and I started running right then and there the next day, and it was for the same reasons, without knowing that my brother was running, half a mile away through COVID, without being able to see each other. We both started running. For me, it was in my basement on my treadmill, and I weighed 250 pounds. My mental space wasn't the greatest, and I needed to do something different. So that's what I decided to do.
That is so crazy that the two of you both, without even knowing it, were just doing that syncopated almost. I'm wondering, tell me about the first race that you run. What happened at that race?
So it was the Manitoba Marathon in 2021 in September, and I had trained and I thought I was ready, and I was still quite a bit overweight, but I was, I thought I was going to do a 4.5 hour marathon, and I had a plan, and I ended up running a 4:47, 4 hours and 47 minutes, and I slowed down tremendously towards the end, and clearly I wasn't in the shape I needed to be to run a 4:30. I was so humbled. I was like, but in a way, I felt like it was very rewarding, and I had enjoyed the experience so much. I enjoyed the training for it. I enjoyed, feeling better, and I was humbled by the fact that 26 miles, 42.2 kilometers is a daunting task for anyone. And I reached out to my brother and I said, "What do you think? Do you want to run another one?"
And Charlie, what did you say?
Well, I think he's got it upside down. I think it was, I asked him, I was already planning to go to a marathon in December. And I said, Rob, you're in good shape now. He was telling me about how much he was running, and he was in really good shape. And I said, oh, you should come. I don't want to go run this alone. And I asked him to come with me to Arizona to run a marathon in December of 2021. Which was only a couple months after for him. So it's pretty impressive how quickly Rob was able to improve before that marathon.
Amazing. Now, I'm just realizing, like, you had, you just gotten this news about your father. Now the two of you are running together. It's a lot of weighty stuff there. How did it all work with the training together? And I'll have Charlie answer that question.
Well, we didn't even, at some point, we didn't even know we were both training. Once at some point I heard Rob was running the marathon, and then we started talking about it, but we never actually trained together because I would always go outside and he was on his treadmill, and we just started talking about it, a lot of it through text messages, and we would tell each other, like, give each other updates on how the training was progressing and stuff like that. That was the extent. We never actually ran together till we actually ran the marathon in Phoenix.
And
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy that we actually didn't run together. I mean, I would share my jogs with you, Charlie, and you would share yours with me, and you would tell me, oh, Sunday I'm doing 15 miles and I hope to do it in whatever, 2.5 hours or whatever. And we would share, and, oh, how was your heart rate? How did you do in the sun? And what was your hydration plan? And it's almost like we were doing it virtually. And I guess COVID was virtual. So I think it's kind of neat how we did it, actually.
I'm wondering, Rob, when you actually ran that race together after kind of this almost mental back and forth, this talking back and forth with each other, when you actually met up together and ran together for the first time, what did it feel like?
Okay, so it was so much easier having my brother next to me in Tucson. So Tucson, we ran, what was it, Charlie, a 3:56 or something like that? 3:58?
Yeah, 3:55, yeah.
Yeah, so we just beat 4 hours. In Tucson, I thought there was a chance that we could beat 4 hours, but I wasn't sure because, it was 2 months earlier, I ran a 4:48. So like I was almost trimming an hour. But the fact that my brother was next to me, the fact that he was encouraging me, I had a very hard time in Tucson And Charlie supported me. He waited for me, and I was kind of struggling through miles 20, 21, 22, 23. And he got me across the line. I'd never run with someone. I'd never run outside. I'd always just run on my treadmill. And Charlie really carried me through those last miles. And for me, it was something I'll never forget. First time I was running with someone, and it was my brother, and he carried me through, and we got our goal, which was pretty impressive.
Charlie, how does it make you feel to hear Rob say that?
Oh, it's not surprising. It makes me feel good. I mean, same kind of sentiment here. It's almost like you're cheating when you're running with your brother, because you get like 20% more energy. It's just so much easier. Yeah, it was awesome. It felt really good.
I'm wondering, Charlie, I'll continue with you. This has obviously brought changes to yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Is there anything that stands out in terms of something that's like really changed since you've brought this into your life?
Well, for one, I feel much healthier. I have a lot more energy. So I like, even though I'm spending all this energy every day doing exercise, after that, I still have way more energy to just do things. And just kind of figuring out how to prioritize these things in my life has been a challenge, but it's also been, it's like I've got way more room in my life to spend time with family and spend time on work. And yeah, so it's just a more positive outlook. As far as it's been well documented and proven that running has positive effects for your mental health. So I've that's my therapy. So it's been very beneficial that way too.
And Rob, I'm wondering, you 10 years ago, what would you have told yourself about this? Like, if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be running marathons all over, I'm setting all these crazy goals. Would you have believed it?
Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind 10 years ago, like 2 years ago. I would not have believed it. I would like look at the people that would do marathons, and I'd be envious, and I'd say, maybe someday I'll figure it out and I'll do it. But there was no catalyst. And I always said in the back of my mind, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could if I wanted. Oh, I could do that. But I surprised myself. And I think, like, after we ran Tucson, we said, why don't we run another one? And we said, let's go run Las Vegas. And we ran the Las Vegas Marathon in 3 hours and 23 minutes. We shaved another almost 40 minutes off our time. And we almost qualified for Boston. We were within, 13 minutes from qualifying for Boston. And for me to have shaved, what would that be, an hour and a half almost, or an hour 20 in I don't know, 6 months or something on a marathon time, it just, for me, it reinforced that I can put my mind, if I put my mind to something, I can do it. And it's been incredibly humbling, and it's been incredibly, the mental health aspect, the time with my children, I used to get winded going up the stairs, or I'd get winded when I would play basketball with my son, and it scared me. So I'm, if I were to talk to Rob from 2 years ago, I'd slap him across the face and tell him to get started already. Enough's enough.
I can hear in your voice how much this has really changed your life. We're talking about running. We're like, oh yeah, just beating shoes across the pavement, but this is way more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of taken over. Like, I ran an Ironman on the weekend. I went to Des Moines, Iowa, and I ran an Ironman triathlon. So it started just over a year ago, 250 pounds, and I was jogging. And my brother, Charlie, you're for sure the one who suggested that I run an Ironman. It was right after Tucson. You said, Rob, you're a good swimmer. You're a good jogger. You just got to figure out the bike part. So I signed up for an Ironman, and I completed an Ironman triathlon on the weekend. in 14 hours and 48 minutes. And yeah, it's addictive, and it's my time, and I love it. I love that I've turned my life around, and I'm in a good spot.
I'm wondering, Charlie, when you hear your brother talking about that, and also hearing that you're kind of the catalyst for a lot of those things. How does that, like, what does that do for you? Like, hearing that it's kind of you're the little inspiration for a lot of what your brother's been up to.
Yeah, that I haven't really thought about it until now, but I see the big change in my brother, and you know, I think we've come a lot. We've grown so much closer. I mean, we used to be very, very close when we were young kids, and maybe we grew a little bit apart in the years when we became adults. And in the last couple of years, we've grown very, very close. So I am very grateful for that.
I know a lot of people can relate to that, Charlie. I'm wondering, is there any other big goal that's coming up for you next when it comes to running?
For me, well, I'm trying to get over this my foot injury right now, so that's the number one thing. But November, we're planning to try to qualify for Boston. So that would be a 3:08 marathon.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, so we're hoping we can do that together, but I'm not sure what Rob's plans are. We haven't talked.
Yeah, no, I'm in, Charlie. 3:08. We're going to qualify for Boston, and that one's in LA. So we got to start ramping up and getting that done.
I'm sending all the love, all the good vibrations, all of that to the both of you. And before we wrap up, I just want to ask, I'll start with Charlie. Is there something that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Just if anyone who's wants to start running, even if you're overweight, whatever, anybody can do it. You just start by walking, and even walking has great benefits. So it doesn't have to be hardcore right away. I mean, just walking 30 minutes a day can do anyone a lot of good.
And I'm going to hand it over to you, Rob. Is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap up?
Don't get discouraged too, because I look at the workouts I was doing a year ago, and I wasn't able to jog. I would do like a minute of jogging or like 5 minutes of jogging, and then I would walk, and it was really what I would at the time thinking it was embarrassing that I couldn't do it. But you know what? It gets better. And the awesome thing about running and fitness is you just see progress. And don't get discouraged. And I'd strongly encourage anyone to do it. It's phenomenal for all aspects of life.
I want to thank you both for your time. Thank you so much for sharing these fantastic stories. I think that you've given us all so much.
Thank you, Keisha.
That was Rob and Charlie Tatro. They are training to qualify for the Boston Marathon.
And the
That's
gong.
the sound of someone hitting a gong.
And the gong. The gong hits at the end. Is that the first time you listened to that interview? Wow. You're on mute, Charlie. First time.
Just had to, yeah, it was, yeah, just had to bring my mouse over, but yeah.
How do you feel about that interview?
Oh, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was. I think she's a very good interviewer.
She's good, Keisha. I'm gonna reach out there, see if she wants to do a follow up.
She had really good questions, and yeah, it was good.
It kind of is awesome because it's a moment in time, right? It's like frozen in time. That's how we felt that day, that week, that month, and like we were. To listen to me, how excited I was about my Ironman and how excited I was about our marathon times, and like talking about the future goal. Like that's where we were that moment. We were thinking of it. I guess I hadn't decided yet that I was running. I think I got motivated that day probably with that interview because I guess I wasn't decided yet.
Yeah, I don't think we had. I think we had again independently looked at options to try, and then we had talked about it briefly, and then it came up in the interview, and we decided that was our next goal. So
Yeah, that's
that was
awesome.
interesting. Yeah,
That would have been mid-June. Yeah, go ahead.
Couple interesting things I thought was, well, as one, I got super emotional when started talking about how close it brought us. That's one thing. I think when you talked about me convincing you to do the Ironman, it made me realize how my preconceptions of what is required for an Ironman were kind of completely wrong. Like my preconception was that the hard part is like the swimming, which, yeah, it's hard, but I think with proper training, like it's not crazy hard. I think like the other parts are going to be, I've never done one, but I'm kind of more worried about the bike and the run now. Yeah.
On that piece, like I remember when you encouraged me to do it. Like, let me ask you this, Charlie. Why did you think I could do it and not you? Why were you encouraging me to do it?
Because I knew you were a way better swimmer than me.
It's because of the swimming. You thought it would be such a battle for
Yeah, I didn't think I would ever be. I didn't think I would. I thought I would never be able to swim half decent enough to do 2.4 miles. Like I didn't think that'd be something. It felt like such a stretch at that point.
Right. And I mean, now it's easy to look back now and say, well, it's such a stupid opinion, Charlie. Because I mean, one side of the argument could be you've always been a good swimmer. You had a pool your whole life. You're an incredible athlete. You've always had a good swim stroke. You were one of the fastest swimmers I knew. You were the fastest swimmer that I knew most of my life. Yeah. So like, that's a bit of I think it'd be easy to say now, but even back then, I guess did I argue with you? Did I try to encourage you to come do it with me? I don't remember.
No. I think I had other plans, right? So I had always this thing where it was Boston qualify,
right, or
nothing, right? But you did both in the same time. So I mean, but I was like, I'm not doing anything until I Boston qualify. Basically, it was like that was my first goal. So in my head, it was like, I'll do Ironman later, right?
And it's funny that like so I think it was, were we on the same flight back from Tucson? No, I think it was on the drive to the airport that you told me that I should do the Ironman. And you said, Bryce had just done one and you were like, let's do it. And you convinced me to do it because you're the one who put it in my head. And then once I get something in my head, it's bad news for everything else. But then the irony is like, I'm convincing you now to join me. I tried. I don't know if I impacted you or not, but I tried to convince you to come do this Ironman with me in Texas, which we leave for in less than a week. Yeah. So life is full circle. You convinced me to do one because you thought you couldn't do one. And then I'm trying to convince you. I convinced you to do one, and now you're joining to do one.
Yeah.
And you say that it doesn't take much in terms of swimming, Charlie, is a great oversimplification.
No. It takes just way less than I thought it would be. Like the swimming was improved so much more than I thought was possible. But I guess that's happened with running. That's happened with biking. When you put sustained effort into something for a long period of time, it's hard to imagine how much you can improve.
Yeah. I think of like some of my buddies that are training, like at CBC, for example, told me that his goal is to do an Ironman in the next, I think he said 3 to 5 years. So
yeah.
I told him, just do it. Just do it next year. Like, do it now.
He doesn't need 3 years.
I know, but it's so overwhelming to think of the swim and like it. I understand why he would think it's overwhelming. Yeah. And why people told me not to do it in 4 months. They said, that's ridiculous, Rob. You're going to kill yourself and blah, blah, blah. But it's all about committing to the training.
And not worrying about the race that's 6 months. It's worry about your workout on that day.
tomorrow, that day, and doing it, getting up when
Yeah.
you don't want to get up at 6 a.m. and go into the pool and go, like that's the key. If you're the type of person that
And
can do it,
the days that you don't feel good, which for me, like there wasn't that many in this Ironman training, but there was a few, and you just do the workout. Even it's going to be a shitty workout, and you just do it. And
yeah, I haven't had many either, but there's been a few. Like my last swim, my last swim, which was yesterday. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's not gonna matter if I swim today or not. Like
I know
I can do this.
That
swim.
was my swim on. That was my
Tuesday?
swim on Tuesday. Yeah, I had like no motivation, and then I put in my comments to Patrick. I was like, I felt like I had no energy today, and he's like, okay, you're taking a day off, and then so
Patrick Peacock that you're repping on your head.
Yeah.
But like it's still the ability. So I get it. While some people can't do it because those days takes a lot. It took a lot for me to get up on Thursday, and like I
guess we both had the same thing because to me it was really a lack of motivation, right?
I was like the haze in the barn. Once I did that 6.5 hour workout on Saturday, I was like, I'm kind of done. Get this race already. Like I just want to do this race already.
Totally.
Like it's and then you're looking at your calendar like, I gotta get up and go to Bonnie Vital pool again and swim. I was like, it's not gonna matter. I've already done all my swimming. Like, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it because I gotta do it. So if you can do that, so I think my message for Tive and Tive, if you listen to this podcast, would be just pick a date far enough that you're gonna give yourself time, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. But then just follow the workout plan, and you will do the Ironman. Like Tive is a good enough athlete.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good enough swimmer.
Like if he's not comfortable at 6 months, like a year at the most, that's plenty of time.
Yeah, because I mean, he's gonna improve. Maybe he's not as good of a swimmer. I don't know because you were a natural swimmer
I think because of all the running training, I had a really good aerobic base to start, so that helps, I guess, probably.
Yeah. What about she mentioned a few times like the crazy goals that we've set. I think she said something like that. The crazy goals that these brothers have set. Do you think that they are crazy? Do you think that the progression we did is crazy, or do you think it's kind of normal for other people?
I don't know. I feel like to me, it's just like it's like any other project. It's you start with a goal, and whether you reach it or not doesn't matter. But you give yourself a deadline, and you just start working at it one day at a time. And I don't know. I don't think they're crazy. I was very well. So I think the Boston one was pretty crazy, but we did it. Yeah, it was a short amount of time, so we really challenged ourselves to do it in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
but I don't think. Well, that's really the only big one that I've had.
After we did Vegas, though, like okay, broke 4 hours, and then what? 6 months, 5 months, we broke 3.5.
Yeah,
and then another 5-6 months, I think, right? We broke 3.
Yeah, but I was injured at the time, and anyways, no, it was, but I don't think it was crazy. I think it was a your goal's got to be a little bit more than what you think is possible at the time. Always a little bit more than what you think you can do, or else it's too easy.
I had a guy, I'll never forget him. I'll name drop him because I don't know where he is now, but his name was Brian Mosha, and he worked with me in my first career in the investment business. So I have a business, and I've been lucky to be remarkably successful, and I've beat all the goals for growth, etc. He sat down with me one year. Either he's the smartest guy ever, but he told me.
I think I remember this story.
He told me the problem with you, Rob, because I had set my goals and I had to submit it in. He says the problem with you, Rob, is you don't set lofty enough goals. Like you're okay just sitting on shitty goals, and like you're going to set this stupid goal that you could easily do instead of pushing yourself and actually setting a tougher goal. And I was just like I still remember that moment.
See, when you told me this story, it was a little bit different. It was
maybe I'm paraphrasing.
The problem with you, Rob, is that you achieve all your goals.
No. Well, okay, but you set goals too low so that you can achieve them. So you could tell people
Yeah,
you
but
achieve your
but
goals.
what he meant was like you achieve all your like he said it in a different way.
Yeah, but he was basically, I think what he was doing was trying to tell me set way bigger goals,
Yeah,
and who
yeah.
cares if you don't reach them? Like it's not the end of the world if you put your mind to it. Anyways, I still think of him and how he motivated me, indirectly or directly. Yeah, the problem with you, Rob, is you reach all your goals. Yeah, actually, that is what he said. And then I said, well, what do you like? Yeah, I reached what? And like I was so proud of myself back then as a way younger professional, and I. Even now, even if I don't reach my goal, like when we were going to Boston, I was pretty sure we'd reach it. But in the back of my mind, I was like, if I don't reach it, like, holy shit, I've done what I can. Like I focused on what I can control. And if I don't reach it, I'm okay with it. I was okay with it. I would have.
See, for me, for Boston, for about up until about a month before, I thought I had no chance. And then a month before I started having hope, and then it was like, but I would have been okay. Even I have had like the whole time I was like, just one day at a time. And if I don't do it, I don't do it. It doesn't like
focus on today's goal, focus on today's jog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then about a month before I started, well, I went from like 2% to 4%. And then a month in, I was like, I think I've got a chance.
Yeah. Do you think like, have you set goals? And we'll talk about this next week on our recording for Ironman, but like, have you set longer goals? I know you've talked about sub 3 at New York and Boston, right? Is kind of what you'd like to do.
No, sub 3 at Boston, because that gives me a whole year pretty much.
Yeah.
So maybe that's 2. No, that's hard. That's gonna be hard. And then 3:10 at New York because it's a tougher course and I'll have less time. I haven't set for Ironman.
Okay.
Because
we'll talk about that.
I don't know how the bike is gonna be. So.
Yeah, I found a formula online. This guy that studied, and it's a multiplier times your Olympic distance plus a multiplier times your marathon PB.
Yeah. I saw that too. Yeah.
11 and change for me. Came out to.
Is that your goal?
I'm just saying that's what it came out to, and that just blew my mind because I remember how hard it was to do 14 hours. Yeah, and I blew my mind when I.
Well, I mean.
Am I that fit already? Like, did that happen that quick? That I can do an 11-hour Ironman? Like, I feel like that would be unbelievable.
Well, have you had your call with Patrick yet, or
no? Next week.
Oh, okay. So, like to me, for you, an hour 10 swim should be close to 6 on your bike, right?
I'd like to be at 6 on the bike. Yep. That means I need to do 3.5 because
then you'll do 4. You'll do 4. So that's 11 and a half.
But if I want to,
that's kind of, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know yet, but I'm thinking maybe 120 to 115 on the swim. Like I'll try to take it easy, even like super easy with that wetsuit. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so
cheater suit.
Yeah. So 120 to 115, very easy. And then bike, I'm hoping under 6, but not. I don't think I'll be much under 6. And then 4 on the run. But these are all pretty stretch goals.
Yeah, and we do have to respect the race. So we'll talk about this more next week in our next episode. But last thing I want to ask you about for that recording. Well, one, it's pretty neat. So I'm always been the emotional one between the two of us. And I've always been the one who cries way too much and who gets way too emotional. But like, I was emotional today, just hearing me be emotional then, because I remember how I was thinking, like, we were not running together. It was so random that we figured out. Remember in Marchand one day, I saw you and you saw me, like, shit, you lost a bunch of weight. And I was like, because we hadn't seen each other in like 6 months or something.
This was like 4 months in.
Yeah. I was doing like, I'd done like 100 jogs and I didn't even know that you were jogging. You didn't know I was jogging.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden we jog. So, I mean, to have this, to be able to share this with you, I don't like, the last thing I want to do is get sappy, but it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat to be able to share this and to get the competitive fuel going. Like when I see your runs on Zwift, your jogs on Zwift, or your swims or whatever, it's like competitive fuel going, and knowing that, you know, if you beat me or if I beat you, it's just one up on the scoreboard or whatever of who beat who in what race. But it's unbelievable to see you succeed, and it helps me succeed. It's pretty neat. What about the piece in the interview about Claude, our dad, and how big of a piece he was of all this?
Yeah, that was a big trigger. I mean, it seems so long ago now, and he's doing really well. But
fuck, he's jogging, man. Like he did. The guy is just off chemo. He's 70 years old. He went through 2 bouts of chemo, and he's talking to us about his training plan, because he's got to do a half marathon in a month, and he wants to run this with me. He wants to run with Rob with me, and he's running 5 days a week. He's doing like, what is he doing? He's doing like 20 miles a week, 25 miles a week or something. 5.
The way he explained it to me is he's running 5 out of 8 days.
5 out of 8 days, 5, 5, 5, 5, 7 is what he did last week.
That's too much for him. That's crazy. Anyways.
He's like us, though,
70,
right?
70 years old. Anyways,
but 70 years old.
He's doing more miles than me.
And he's coming off chemo, like a whole bunch of chemo treatments in the last year and a half or so. Like I hear him talk, and I'm just like, I feel like I need to pick up my shit and get going. Like I'm so impressed, and I'm so proud of him, and like it's crazy what he's doing. We're gonna get him on the show. I don't know when, but he's coming with us to Houston. It was so fun. I don't know. I had so much fun in LA with him. It was me, you, and him, just the 3 of us.
Yeah, it was great.
And when we booked this, I saw him like, I don't know when, but I said, Claude, you're coming to Houston, right? And he said, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. So he's coming. We also got Diggs, Labby, and Sil coming. So this will be a different dynamic, but I think it's going to be fun. We got a nice place in Houston, going to give us some time.
I had one more thought about the interview. If whenever.
No. Well, to finish the Claude thing was just like, when I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It's like, you can't make changes for yourself in your life unless you've actually hit your own rock bottom, right? Whatever that means for you. Because to just say, I'm going to go and jog, or rock bottom might be the wrong word, but like a catalyst. So like when I quit drinking, I needed a catalyst to quit drinking. Like when you quit drinking, you needed a catalyst to quit drinking, and whatever that means for that person in that moment. But it's got to be you who decides. It's got to be 100% inside of your body and you inside your mind. And I think the same thing is for deciding to get in shape, which is what we decided we'd do. I don't think on day one I decided I'm going to qualify for Boston. I'm going to do an Ironman. Although in the back of my mind, way in the back, I kind of had a very, very distant goal of running for Boston when I was 65 or 70 or something. But like, was get fit. Get fit was my thing, right? I need to get fit because for some reason I thought, holy shit, my dad's going to die, and then I'm going to die, and my kids aren't going to have kids. My kids aren't going to have a dad. And like, I was just like, that's where the spot came from. And that was my catalyst. And that's how I tried to describe it there. I don't know if I did a good job, but how about you? Was that the exact same catalyst? Like the hitting?
Yeah,
bottom?
Well, I wasn't rock bottom, but I had been thinking for a long time, I need to get in shape. I'm out of shape. I need to get in shape. This is terrible. I need to do something. And then when I got that phone call, that was like the thing that's like, okay, then like, let's stop. Let's do stuff.
The thing. That's the thing. I had been saying it for a very long time. I need to do this. And it's like all my buddies that are doing this half marathon with me, they've all kind of had to say they want to get in shape. But you did it. Like you actually said enough's enough, and you did it.
And the other thing I was going to say is I did have in the back of my mind this idea of, because I had previously been in shape and I had known about training for running and stuff, and I knew how it worked. So I had this idea in the back of my mind of 3 in 3. So being able to break a 3-hour marathon in 3 years from when I started. So I did that a little bit quicker than 3 years. So that was great. And then,
how long did it take you? Like a year, basically a year and a half.
Almost a year and a half, yeah. But that I don't count that one yet. We'll see. So The other thing that was interesting, you're talking about all the guys that you're coaching and how we talked about how just starting. Is that how we talked about it in the interview? Is that kind of translating well on how you're coaching the guys that you're coaching now?
Which piece? Sorry.
Well, at the end we talked about like how you start. Like how do you start? You don't have to start running every day and go crazy. You can start walking. You can kind of mix it up, right? Is that are you kind of seeing the same pattern with the people that you're training now, or
that's exactly what I'm doing, because I remember how hard it was for me, and you've been the most strong advocate for just do something. I've heard you say that I don't know how many times, whether it's just go and walk if you can't jog, or jog 2, 3, 4 minutes and then walk, or jog 8 minutes and walk. And that's what I've been doing with all the people I'm coaching, is I'm trying to get them to just be on their feet.
Yeah.
To start, be on their feet, get some miles in, whether it's walking, jogging, jogging. And I just try to push whatever I think they can do. The problem is always, you don't want to push them so hard that they quit because it's too hard, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a bunch of people that I'm informally coaching, and then I've got some that I'm formally coaching. And it's always the same thing. Like one kind of longer jog on the weekend, and the rest is just move. Just go out and move and do something. And I don't know if it's working, but like I talk about humbling, man, this last year of my life, I guess I've always been sorry. I know you hate this. Sorry. It upsets me more that I'm being emotional, because I know you're upset at me being emotional.
No.
You're like, enough, stop crying already.
No, not at all.
But it's like, I think of the impact that I was having on people in the past, on their health, like largely negative, because of like the decisions I would make about food and booze and lack of activity, and I would use my leadership in a negative role, I think. And it's been an eye-opening year for me to realize that we can have positive impact for people. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's been. I've seen a big. A big change, so that's great.
For me, it's like, yes, the fitness has been cool too, but I actually also quit drinking, and I also like made some dramatic changes in my life. And I know for you made a lot of changes too, but it's like you had already quit drinking. So it's been a fun year. It's been a great year since that interview, because that's around the time I quit drinking. So it's like, man, I think of, anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for Run with Rob. And I got another project in the back of my mind. Did I tell you about that one for January?
No,
Okay.
What is it?
I'm going to save it. I got an idea. My wife gave me an idea. We might do it together. It's
okay. So let's save it.
Yeah.
Or do you want to tell me right now?
I'll tease it, and we can talk about it next time. And I'll wrap this episode up right now because I'm too emotional and I need to step away. But my wife sent me a text, and it was 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 continents.
Oh,
and
you're going to do that?
It's a travel tourism company. They bring you on a chartered jet. You start in South America, you go Antarctica, you go Australia, you go Europe, you go Asia.
Pretty pricey.
It's a package. It's a package.
Yeah. The Antarctica one will be fun.
And like she's gonna do she's thinking of doing the halves, and I would do the fulls, and it would be something we could do together. And
oh, that's great.
Anyways, I told her you shouldn't have sent me this because now I can't stop thinking about it. Anyways, I will talk more of this. This was great. This was a good episode. This was fun. Looking forward to next week, Charlie. Looking forward to you beating me by like an hour and a half on the Ironman. So
no, I predict
it's gonna be
shitty. I predict it's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be shitty for me in the house after when you're basking in your 10:47, and
I'm not gonna do it. Honestly, I think
you're such a strong biker. Like
I'm
you're
not
very,
though,
very strong biker.
because I went to Birds Hill, and the update is my power meter is definitely overstating my power. So I got to put out 240 to do like a 20.5 miles an hour.
What's that in K? That's 32K? 32K?
Like 32.5K.
Yeah.
I gotta put out 240 watts at Birds Hill. So Birds Hill is a bit hillier than the course, but still.
Yeah. Either way, I've seen the workouts you've done. We are ready for this, so I'm excited. Next week we'll talk more about this, and I do have to run. So probably.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow us, The Running Journey on YouTube or wherever you watch your podcast. Thank you guys. Check out the other episodes as well. Have a great weekend.